Hello, my name is Joanita Babirye from Uganda. I work with Girls for Climate Action, an organization that is putting young women and girls at the forefront of climate action because of their vulnerability to climate change impacts. So we work in Uganda. So at this COP, I've been following on issues to do with gender and also education. Reason being that, just like I said, women and girls are most affected when it comes to climate change impacts. So coming to COP as looking forward to seeing how the gender plans are going, and also how COP will be very inclusive of the gender perspective, but also education, because I feel it's very important, and also as an example from the communities that we come from, where so many people do not know anything about climate change, but also the education system is focusing on different things and not having the climate perspective into the picture of the curriculum. So it's an issue that I've been following up as well. And also because as Girls for Climate Action, we are doing a lot of education in communities and in schools. So that is why I've been following on those issues. One, because gender takes on the vulnerability, but education also takes on the knowledge about climate change itself. Yes, so first of all, what we do under Girls for Climate Action is training young women and girls, youth in green businesses, climate series in schools to break down the science, and also guiding entrepreneurs. Now that is all into education from my end. So when you look at the decision that has been made today, this time on education, it's partly good news, right? When you talk about the climate, the action plan that they are thinking about to discuss in June, right? The decision, the fact that they have made the first decision of, oh right, we need an action plan on education, it's just also one foot into the door. Now, bringing everything together will be if the action plan is actually designed during the subsidiary bodies that is going to happen in June next year. So for me, when it comes to education, I feel partly something has been done during COP, which is good news. And we are looking now forward to following up on what happens, or how the action plan is inclusive, action plan is super flexible and easily accessible by very many people in different communities, different backgrounds. So when it comes to gender, I think the decisions today have still been that the representation will be increased, in the next COPs, or different representations of presidents, of governments and parties. There will be more, a gender aspect will still be included. This has been done also in the past. However, at this COP, we've been also pushing for finances reaching the rural communities, reaching the indigenous communities, the women that are facing the impacts of climate change firsthand, and also people, the women that are in these different communities. So I've seen, so it was more of pushing for accessibility to finance, The finances might or might not be achieved as promised, but we also need to see if the finances come, are they accessible by people that are facing the climate crisis firsthand, mostly in the global south, mostly in Africa. So I've not seen so much of that because I would have loved to see that, a plan is already also, declared, to see that accessibility to funding is a big issue, and the fact that there is going to be the need to include gender, and it's already been talked about. So accessibility to finance by women in different communities, I've not seen it really come out clearly. Yes, so S had just been talked about in the past COPs, and they need to do climate education. They need to, and they demand to do, right? But I think for this COP, if the action plan is already put into the picture of, okay, we talked about S and how we need to promote climate education, but the way to do it had not yet been decided before. So with the action plan, I feel a decision is going to be easily made and a design will really come out clearly to see that, you know, climate education is considered in all aspects. I think it goes back to the indices. Yeah, so when countries were revising their indices, the aspect of climate education was part of it. In Uganda, we spearheaded the revision of the inclusion of youth in the indices, and we consulted on different aspects of the indices that Uganda was having before revision, and different youth gave in their views. And during this process, education was surfacing every other time. So I feel that after the action plan is really decided on and planned, it will be very easy to put it into the indices, and also it will be a must-do by countries. So also, when it comes also to Africa and maybe Uganda and also the Global South as a whole, there might be also the need for funding or finances to really implement this that is in the action plan. So an action plan without finances might not make a lot of sense. We might need action plans backed by finances to implement, right? And also backed by young people to be pushing for the implementation as well, because when you look at the education sector right now many young people are the ones doing education, climate education. Young people are the ones pushing for education related issues. So, you know, we need support from young people as well to see that this is also achieved.